Does your business feel chaotic, out of control, hard for you to manage? And you feel like just pulling out your hair like every day just seems hectic in your company? This is the video for you. Because today we're going to talk about why everything feels chaotic and disorganized in your business, and we're going to talk about how we can fix that. The first reason your business feels chaotic and disorganized is because you do not have clear systems and processes in place. You have to understand that if things are not clear, they will always seem chaotic. The reason you need clear systems in place, such as your SOPs and written out recipes of how things are supposed to get done, is because if you do not do that, there will be delays, there will be bottlenecks, there will be issues coming all from everywhere. Why? Because people will be all over the place not knowing what to do. And they will also be doing the same job in different ways every single time. It's like, think about what it is to bake a cake, right? Could you imagine what it would be like to try and bake the same cake, not having a recipe? Lack of consistency. The cake will taste different every single time. The cake will probably look different every single time. If you make your own frosting and you want blue frosting, it might not be as blue on this cake as it is on that cake every single time. When a problem hits, it's like you have to figure it out every single time that you have to do this. That will give the feeling of chaos and hectic, and it will give a sense of disorganization in your company. Imagine you have 4 or 5 people trying to bake the same cake and none of them have a recipe. That is just ridiculous chaos. No, and then you have this one saying to this one, oh, no, you're supposed to add the cornstarch. No, you need to add baking soda. And they're all trying to wing it every single time, as though they didn't even bake a cake just 2 days ago. Or even trying to get the materials for the recipe. We didn't even realize that we ran out of baking soda. Maybe we can substitute this for that. No, if everything is set in place and everything is clear with the proper recipe, you don't have to figure it out. You can just follow the recipe. It will be consistent. It will literally make everything run like a well-oiled machine, and it won't feel chaotic. It won't feel disorganized, and it won't leave you with a headache at the end of your workday every day. Another reason is you're overwhelmed with tasks and you're not sure how to prioritize it. We know that feeling. Everything is urgent, everything is an issue, and everything needs your attention right away. And so you'll move from one urgent thing to the next. Have you ever tried to clean a room that is a mess? And you start at the table and you start putting things away from the table where they belong. And you notice that when you brought, let's say, the milk from off the table and you put it in the fridge, and there's something in the fridge that needed to be wiped down. So now you're wiping down the fridge, but you never finished the table that you started off. And then after wiping down the fridge, you notice that something in the fridge is out of place, so you then move back to, that's how it works. Everything seems urgent, and then you just move from one urgent thing to the next urgent thing in your business, and then you're running this rat race and not making any progress because it feels chaotic. It feels hectic. It's like, did I even get anything done at the end of the day? And I did all this work and I was putting out all these fires. That also can give you a sense of chaos and a sense that you don't have your business under control. So there's a common myth that multitasking gets you far. And that's why you're like, while I'm cleaning off this table, I can also organize my fridge and I can do it all at the same time. And you feel like I'm gonna get a lot done if I do it that way. Here's the problem. The problem is if you are bouncing from one urgent thing to the next and you're constantly interrupting a task with another task, you won't get any one thing done well. And it rolls over into the next day. In the scriptures, the Bible says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And he created everything that we see in 6 days. And yet, what did he do on day 1? Let there be light. And that was the evening and the morning were the first day. That's all he did on day one was let there be light. That was it, one task. And yet we try to cram multiple tasks into our one day. But guess what? When he said let there be light, he didn't have to come back 3 days later and say, I forgot to do this with the light and go back and refix. No, light was done, it was completed, and it was well, and it was good. And that's all he focused on that day. We need to understand that multitasking doesn't necessarily get you further, faster. It can actually hamstring you and actually hold you back. And it literally is one of the reasons why you feel your business is chaotic, why you feel that you're always dealing in chaos and disorganization because you're bouncing around with too many things at one time. Another reason things may feel chaotic and disorganized in your business is because there is miscommunication between you and your vision and your team, or your team is not aligned with your vision. It's like, pretend you're going, canoeing. So my family and I, we went canoeing, and they set us up in the canoe, and I was in the front, my husband was in the back, 2 girls were in the center, okay? And we got our rowers, and we're going. And then the tide or the current brought us into this little cove area, and it was pretty, so we didn't mind. We were looking and everything, and then it was time for us to row out of it. So we're trying to turn the canoe around, and we're rowing, and apparently we were all rowing in different directions. And let me tell you, we stayed right there, okay? It didn't matter how much effort we were all putting into row, we were just going in circles and staying right there. It was such a spectacle that people were coming, watching us, saying, "You're okay?" Laughing a little bit because we're all laughing, and then they were able to just row right out, and we were still struggling. That is chaos. When you're not rowing in the same direction, when your vision and what you're doing is not aligned, and when your team is not aligned with your vision, or if there is miscommunication, what it means, row this way, and we're like, what does that even mean? Because there's miscommunication. It will seem like your business is spinning in circles. It will feel chaotic. It will feel disorganized. So it's very, very important that your business, vision, and your team, they are aligned, and that there is clear communication on how we're going to attain that vision. That is very important in making sure that your business does not feel chaotic. So let's talk about how to fix it. We've gone down the rabbit hole. I know you understand what I mean because we've all been there, right? But let's talk about how we're going to fix these problems. The clear processes and systems for your company. This is how we do it. When you are doing a particular task in your business, just write down what you're doing. Get a little notebook. It doesn't have to be fancy at first. Just literally write down, I did this, I did that. Next step 1, step 2. They even have software today that can document what you're doing on the computer and timestamp it. Find one of those pieces of software, but document what it is that you are doing step by step. The reason I say use a notebook is because if not everything is done on the computer and you have to go and, make a photocopy or go and that's part of the process, you need to write that down as well. That is your standard operating procedure. That's your SOP for that particular task. It is so important. Why? Because then when you have written those things down, let's say you're absent or you can't do the task, you could literally write down that step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, that recipe, that SOP, that standard operating procedure to someone else. And they could literally go step 1, click here, do that. Step 2, make a photocopy. Step 3, and they could literally duplicate that whole process even when you're not there. That is the beauty of clear systems and processes in place. That will help you with making sure your business doesn't feel very chaotic. Another thing, while you're writing your SOPs down, do a few iterations of this process to make sure you capture every detail of it. And also, if there's anything that you realize you can do better with the process. You don't have to say this is the only way it can get done, but it definitely gives you a great starting point. Because if you notice, with new technology coming out, new ways of doing things, there's a more efficient way to do something. You can always go back and edit those areas. But at the end of the day, you're not figuring it out every single time. The process is clear. The process is succinct. Now let's talk about the overwhelming feeling of so many tasks and how you prioritize them. Remember when I said to you how God did one thing on day 1 let there be light. Believe it or not, you can choose one thing that you have to get accomplished in your business and focus in on that one thing and do it well. Do it to the place where you do not have to come back to it 2 days from now to fix it or update it. Do it well. Now, in all honesty, if you'd like and you're advanced, you can do 1 to 3 things a day. If you're like a person who multitasks all the time, I would say start off by doing 1. Now, it's gonna feel counterintuitive. You're gonna feel like, I'm not getting enough done in my day because I did 1. Or what if I finished early? Let me see if I can squeeze another thing in there halfway and then I'll complete it the next day. No. Just be okay with doing that one thing and doing it well. Let's say you're trying to write a copy for marketing. That's it. Just focus on that, and that's it. Focus on doing it very well. Focus on checking out the verbiage and all. Like, get as deep into it as possible, but do it very well. And then pause. That's the end of your day. And then the next day, have the next thing that you're going to do that day and the following day. Now, the best way to do this, because you're like, well, what do I choose to do that one day? Figure out what you're trying to accomplish by the end of the week. Line up all the tasks that it will take for you to do that at the end of the week. When you looked at it from a high level, then break up step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, okay? 6 things. All right. And then when you do that, you look at each block of items you have to do and say, okay, is this one thing that I can accomplish in this one day? It won't spill over into the next day. This is the one thing I'll accomplish in that one day. Start breaking it out that way so that you know that when you've done Monday, you've done Monday. And when you've done Tuesday, you've done Tuesday. And you know that you're on track to finishing your goal for the end of the week. Start there. It will make a world of a difference. Yes, it's a lot of work up front with the planning, but I'm telling you, that is what's gonna make sure you don't feel chaos in your business or disorganization. And if you're doing that as the business owner, your team will follow suit as you teach them how to do the same thing. And let me tell you, your business will feel that it's well run. It won't feel chaotic. It will feel that you can manage it. It will be an amazing feel. And a feeling of, like, do you hear it? That's how it will feel, literally. Now, let's fix the issue of your team not being aligned with your vision or possible miscommunication between you and your team or your team and your team. Okay? One team member with another. That's what I meant when I said that. So have regular check-in with your team. Now, personally, my team and I, we meet daily because we're just checking in with each other. Where are we winning? Where are we stuck? What can we do to help one another? Check in with your team all the time. Make sure that they're on the right path. Make sure that everything that they are doing, they're constantly focused on the goal, constantly focused on the vision. That will definitely help. Another thing, ensure that your team members are very clear on the roles that they play. You have to understand that if you have a video editor, but that video editor is also the person that is making the photocopies for everyone, and is also the person scheduling the plane flights and the hotel rooms for your clients coming in, and that video editor, I mean, they're gonna feel chaos because here they are just trying to focus on editing videos, and yet they have to pause in order to go over here and book, hotels and meetings and all that. That might be the job for your executive assistant. And if they're doing that, what is your executive assistant doing? So you gotta make sure that everyone understands their clear roles, their areas of expertise, and they get to stay there. It's like when you go to McDonald's and the person that is taking the order from the car is not exactly the same person going out and wiping out the tables every time someone gets up to leave that are eating in the restaurant, okay? They might do a fry or two. No, they get the drink. See, how do I even know that? Because everything is so clear that I've seen it so many times, and they have clear SOPs. It's not chaotic. You actually expect them while you're waiting on your food to be done that they hand you your drink from the window. So that's what I mean. You want to make sure that everyone's role is clear, and you want to make sure that you're checking in regularly so that everybody is definitely on the mark to reaching the goal as a company. These are the ways we can fix your company feeling chaotic, all over the place, and feeling like you cannot manage your business. Let me know in the comments. What are some things in your company right now that feels chaotic to you? What are some issues that you're like, I need to figure this out? Also tell me if anything I've said in this video is actually going to help your company, you're going to go ahead and implement them. I would love to know. Why did it resonate with you? What are you going to implement? I'm going to go on this journey with you. Let me know in the comments so that I can see, and if you have any question about implementing these things, put it in the comments, because then I'll be able to check in and make sure I can help you along the way. With all that being said, I hope this helps.